Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling in from today. Thank you for joining us. Dave Miller, president here at eMAM, and I have with me Chuck Buell. He's our VP Business Development, and we're going to share some ideas on working smarter with eMAM and managing tasks and projects. We record today's session, so happy to give you a recording. Or copy the slide deck as you like, and we'll be at all the fun upcoming shows. Hoping to see you at NAB, Broadcast Asia, CabSat, etc. And happy to talk online. I'm going to turn it over to Chuck Buell, and if you have any questions, please put them in the question window. We'll try to either answer them during the session or at the end. And again, thank you so much for your interest. Have a great, enjoy the webinar.
Thanks, Dave. All right, so we'll go through a number of things here about the eMAM platform, as well as basically how to optimize kind of the media flow and the project management all within the eMAM system. And then we'll talk about a few of the different systems we're using currently today, Apache Airflow, Salesforce through Boomi, and then Google Sheets. And then we've also built some custom tools for a number of our clients as well. So kind of go through, first off, just to kind of give you a background, if you're not familiar with eMAM, we are a media asset management system. We acquire media, basically files, camera cards, live encodes, live records, and so on. We can bring that in. We organize the content in what we call categories, and then set permission levels based on the categories, and of course also user groups, and with permissions, then how they can access the media, and then of course also process the media as well. And then thirdly here, through Create, we have a number of panels for Avid, for Adobe, for DaVinci Resolve as well, and then being able to access that content, produce content, put it back into the MAM system, and then be able to then share, do review and approve process, and then package up the media for delivery, for social media, for broadcast, for VOD, and so on. And then lastly, archive, being able to archive locally and then also up in the cloud as well. Now, within the eMAM system, so you're uploading content, then of course through our, what we call our director interface, it's a web UI, you're able to then access, search, find, preview, add metadata, search off that metadata, and so on. And then basically through the interface, again, this is a custom interface that you can kind of build your own and use what we call our widgets here, be able to spread them out on the workspace, and then be able to share and then preview content and so on, and all through the different browsers that are available on Mac and PC, and so on. Now, in eMAM, adding the content, of course, these could be file uploads that you have, or graphics that you can just drag and drop into interface, or the web interface, or an application called Feeder. And then you're prompted to set up different ingest profile, or select ingest profiles, which dictate where the media goes, what happens to the media. Do we create a mezzanine copy or just a proxy copy? You assign it to categories, to projects, and then tag it with metadata, both custom tags. You have different types of custom metadata you can build out as well. That's up to you. And then of course, we also keep track of file property information and who uploaded the media and so on. So that all gets uploaded into the MAM system. We typically, during this process, will use a third-party transcoder to create those proxies or create the mezzanine copy that then users have access to, and then be able to grab that media. So, all right, now tagging the media, this is up to you and how and what type of metadata you want to tag the media with. You basically can define then the different fields that you have, and then put them into to metadata groups, and then allow users to then access that metadata. We also do metadata uploads via CSV or XML. We can do bulk updates through a CSV file, or through the interface, you can actually do a bulk update based on a category. And then we also do have AI tagging as well. So this then enriches then your media to be able to then go in and find all of that content when needed, and then be able to, of course, process that media. So all the different metadata fields that we have, and then the groups that we have. What's also nice about this is that when we're going to talk about user groups here in a second, but the idea is that I can assign a user group to be able to view this metadata in a group, which is like one of the tabs that you see there. And then also I can let them see it, or give them permission to actually update that, excuse me, that metadata as well. And those metadata selections and so on can also trigger different background workflows and various things as well. So that's also possible there. And then the tags, you can manage different tags. Users can either add their own tags, private tags, or public tags could be managed by admins to be able to tag the media there as well. And of course here, then this is the AI side, where we're using different services, which is an additional cost to the license, but through their services, based on usage, then you get charged to find, say, facial recognition, annotations, speech to text, transcripts, and so on, OCR as well within the videos and so on. Okay, so now how do we organize then that media when it does come in? And again, this is kind of a manual process where I'm adding then these different categories and subcategories based on, you know, maybe my projects, my shows, my series, and so on. And typically this is done manually within the eMAM system. One thing that is automatic is if I do upload a folder structure with subfolders, that builds out these categories automatically for me under a main category. So under series, I could have had a folder called S4 Surfing here. And then if I had subcategories underneath that, or subfolders underneath that, that would create those subcategories built into the system here, and so on. So typically this kind of runs through and you manage this and manually process in and build out these categories and subcategories. And then you could use these things for setting up for updating metadata, updating asset tags or locations, or even sending off for sharing or delivery as well, all based on the folder structure that you've created under the category widget there. So it also makes it a little bit easier to find your projects as well. So if you go in and look or type in for searching S4 Surfing, it'll give me that category and then all the media associated with that project underneath it, which is quite nice and easy to do. Okay, so under the user group, so you have a user, and with that user, you want to give them permissions and only give them access to certain, say, categories and so on of media. So when media is assigned to one or more categories, user groups are added with permissions to access that category. And then when they log in, they only see that particular category. And then with the permissions that are added by the admin, they only then get to process the media based on those permissions as well. So users begin, you know, to work on the media that's assigned to them at that point. And so when I log into my system, I could go in and see that there's a new project based on a category structure and so on, and then be able to see that media and then start processing as needed. So again, in the system itself, we have this simple search to find all that media, all based on that category structure. And then of course, thinking that I'm a user and I'm part of the user group, I'm only going to be able to search on that media that's been given permission for me to see. You can save your own searches as well. So a lot of people will build, or customers will build out their own custom or private or public search filters and so on to find media quite quickly. But through advanced or simple search, I can just go in and type particular words like that S4 Surfing, look for an exact match, and then look specifically in locations that I want to find media based on, say, the title or custom metadata or AI. You've also got a thesaurus in here as well, which, by the way, you can build a thesaurus and then start searching on this media. So as you're kind of thinking this through, you know, all of this build out is a lot of manual work, and then of course uploading the media and assign it to the different categories, adding these custom searches and things like that. A lot of this has been, as you can see through here, a lot of manual work to be able to do that process. We also have built into the system to create what we call an eMAM project. And then with that project, I can assign media, or I can actually preview media and do in and out points for subclips and drop them right onto a rough cut timeline. Now, this rough cut timeline is a single track and it's video only, no graphics or no audio, or no additional audio tracks and so on. This is just a single rough cut track. I can save this, and of course, this can go into Adobe Premiere currently today, and then hopefully others later. Or I could stitch it together and create a new asset from it as well, based on those subclips that I create. So again, this is also another way, manually I can go in and create a project and then be able to add that media to it. We can give it metadata, of course, and then assign the users to this based on these users. They would have access to this project, create a sequence and so on, and then of course the rough cut timeline that they have. And then the nice thing also, just I'll mention here, is timeline preview. I can preview that rough cut that I put together. I can also share that rough cut as well with other users. But again, we keep track of within the eMAM as an eMAM project. It's not an Adobe project at this point, or DaVinci or any of the others. So currently today, it's just the media and the sequence maybe that I put together, and I manually then created that. Okay, so in advanced production as well, we do have the ability to take in all of that media, all based on that category assignment, and then import it through these panels. I can import the mezzanine and proxy, and then of course open that up inside of, say, DaVinci in this case here that you see, and so on, and of course Adobe Premiere as well. Okay, now a lot of everything that you've seen so far, a lot of it has been built on, based on manually creating the project, manually creating the category, and so on, and of course all the metadata is built in by the admins, but a lot of this is a manual work. Now, through different tools, we can automate that creation of that project and that category and the category structure, and then also assign the metadata that's associated with that project there as well as assign users to that project, all based on these tools that we could use in a very simple form, maybe that you fill out. And we'll start here. So through the streamlining of your day-to-day work, what we want to do is go in and build in, through these third-party tools, the ability to create the project automatically. And that could be an eMAM project or a Premiere project, as an example. Create the categories and then offer the user assignments and tasks to that. So we can also, through this, through built-in workflows, and again, you don't have to be a programmer for this part. We can actually then help you with sending out a notification to those users that there's a new task available to, or project that they have to start working on. Now, the eMAM workflow tools, the different ad hoc workflows that you can create, it's all menu driven, and it's all based on our super admin console, and typically the admins will create these workflows. So you can sit down with your team, create then a whiteboard and draw out basically all the different workflows that you have on a day-to-day basis. And then through the menu choice, I can go ahead and then build that workflow and create an automated function, creating projects and notifying people and assigning people to the different projects, and so on. So how is that done? Okay, now we've done this through our workflow designer, but we also have used our own eMAM RESTful API. And through that, then through these tools, we then communicate then from the different systems to eMAM, and use the API to then notify and create a connection between the two. So these connectors, in this case here, in this simple one, which is quite neat, Google Sheets. So you could have a Google Sheet open and create a Google Sheet and put in the different tabs and things like we have one here on the far left there. It's a job number, and those job numbers are all based in sequence and so on. you can start entering in information like a date at a job, assign it to a certain person or persons or team, be able to then assign it to a group like say marketing or sales or corporate, add a name to the job, give a job description, and then maybe lay out estimated hours for that project. And then at that point, through scripting, I can then send that over to eMAM. Now, the way this works is this backend app script communicates then with our API and with our eMAM system, and then builds out that category for us. So that it'll create it, in this case here, in this example, it creates a Premier project based on a template. It could have already built in, and by the way, in that template, graphics that you normally would use, audio tracks, or other items that you normally would use in that every project that you do. We could take the building of this project from a template and then add the new name to it based on that project ID that's automatically assigned to the project based on Google Sheets. So the Google Sheets then created through the scripting and then through our API, the category, not only the category with the project and the assigned project to it, and the person also assigned to that project. And then it also created, based on the template, a new project in Premier that's all stored now within the eMAM system. And then somebody now could then go in and check out that project and get started. But they will also be with the built-in workflows to be notified that there's a new project for them to work on. Okay, there's another product we've been using, Apache Airflow. And through Google Sheets as well with this, there's these DAGs that are created through Apache Airflow. Airflow is a product that basically takes something and converts it to something that eMAM can read. So we pass it through Airflow. We could have these different rules and sets and so on to build out an automated workflow to process media accordingly, maybe to review the content, make sure it's the right content, right audio tracks and video and captions and various things, and then assign it through based on the Google Sheets filled out, different things for recordings or file and where they're assigned to and built into the eMAM system, category structure built. Also, the projects are built for you automatically. So we've used this several times with our clients. And with this tool, you can kind of build out these branching of different types of workflows. If it's true or not true, go this way, true or false, and so on, and then have different functions and steps all streamlined through this workflow tool. And so this sits on top of eMAM and basically gives you the ability to kind of design and build out your own workflows. And then based on, say, in this case here, we're going to talk about Google Sheets. At the upper left-hand corner there, in this scenario we built, Google Sheets could then create a project, and then through automated, with Apache Airflow, I could automate the process to trigger, say, drastic studio recording at a certain time and day. Media then can be created. Through that process, then the media goes into the eMAM system as a growing file. Then on the right-hand side there, you'll see Adobe Premiere or DaVinci. They can start, or even Avid now, they could start actually editing that recording while it's coming in. And then while they create different things, they can start a delivery process. Or what you could do is then send out of the media that's created by, say, Premiere, DaVinci, or Avid, goes back into the eMAM system as a sequence and a new asset. Then somebody could be reviewing that new media that just came in, and then they accept the new media, and then it's sent off to delivery, and then that media that was created is automatically then sent off to the archives. So through Apache Airflow and through Google and through Drastic Technologies and live recordings and so on, we've kind of built out this workflow as well for clients. So this is just an example of what can be done, say, through these combinations of with Apache and Google Sheets. Okay, this one actually has been created. We have a Salesforce where our customer is actually building out a project. And with that project then, with assignments and various things, using Boomi, they're actually now creating then the projects, the categories, the category project assignments, and so on, and then sending all of that over into eMAM. And then through eMAM now, you have the project built, you have the person who's been assigned to that project, or people that have, or group that has been assigned to it. The categories were created, the media was assigned to that category, and then of course, based on permissions, those users are notified with tasks in the background through email or whatever notification you want to send. If it's Slack or Teams, you can do that as well. And then they know that there's a new project, and they've got the project number based on, say, Salesforce. There was a project number automatically created. So again, this is quite unique and interesting because the project was created, the categories were created, the assignments were done, and then notifications went out there as well in a fully integrated and automated way. This is another one we've created as well. So we built a custom interface for users to log in, or whoever the project manager is, let's say. They go in and create a project, give it a project ID, project name, and then a storage location where the media and the project are going to be stored. And in this case here, this is Adobe as well, going through, and we built out the template based on Adobe, but we also have built it out with After Effects as well. And what's unique about the new eMAM 5.5 is with embedded links to an After Effects project inside of a Premiere project, that also is now linked within the eMAM system. And so we upload and so on, not only the After Effects graphics and so on that were created, and the Premiere project with it. So it's quite unique as well. But based on these templates, this project form has a script running in the background. It tells eMAM to go ahead and grab that template and then build out for us the category structure, as well as the Premiere project with the After Effects project built into it or linked to it. So when this user or editor checks out this project, they'll have the After Effects and also the Premiere project coming down to them. So quite unique in that case here. So let me show you a quick demo of Google Sheets. So we'll switch over to here. Now, in Google Sheets, so we built this with Google Sheets here, and then of course, also with the tools or extensions here, we also built out that script that's in the background that's running that then creates the project for us and the categories for us. So typically what will happen is you'll come in and I'll go 0325, okay, 25. And then I'm going to do, and this sheet here, this is just our demo sheet that we built in. So we built in the type of job that it is. It's an editing situation. I'm going to assign it to myself, and it's part of marketing. So we'll go into the marketing, and then I'll just go in and say this is project, or I created one here for this date, but we'll add a number to it here, 25, version 2. And then, so with there, here's a demo project 02. And then I can go in and fill in hours and things like that if I'd like, and so on. But what this is doing with this Google Sheets, it's building out then the different templates, using the template for Adobe, creating the project, and it's also going to build out the categories for me as well, but all under the marketing category. And I'm going to jump over to eMAM here in a second. But what I wanted to show you was that the script running basically goes and asks me, do you want to create this project? And I say yes. And so it's created the project for me, and it's created the categories for me automatically. So someone could be doing this on the side and creating these projects that come in, and then creating this for Google Sheets. And then through this, they can go ahead and log in, and it's in their demo cloud. So if I go to now the marketing, I now have that project file that's created right here. And that's edit project 325.25 version 2. So it created the project for me. And with that project, it also created a category. And so under that category, then here is the category built for me. And also assigned to it is that project that it created for me up here. And so now with those permissions in the user group settings and so on, I've assigned a certain user group to this category. And now they're going to be able to see this project when they log in. They'll not only see the media associated with this project and through the category, but then also the project itself. And then when they use Adobe Premiere to check that out, they will actually then check out that project and any media associated with it. In this case, we didn't do it to this system here, but you can have graphics and bins already created for yourself and so on that you normally use in all your projects. So quite easy. And again, that's just Google Sheets. And we will jump back here. And Dave, I think we're down to questions and answers.
Great, thanks a lot, Chuck. And please put, I'll share some of them, and if you have other questions, please share them with us. So yeah, very exciting. We can, make it a little easier for people, obviously, in addition to the internal projects and categories eMAM can support, we can use external systems. And so, and we've had discussions with other customers, other systems, ERP systems, Monday, Workfront, et cetera. So happy to, share details on that, but it comes at the end of the day, it's whatever systems are already in place. It's best to work with those systems for our customers and their particular needs. One of the questions was Apache Airflow. And it's a very broad, powerful system, but it's also open source, so it's free. Of course, you need to follow the terms of the open source consortium and so forth, but it's free to use and very powerful, very flexible. And whether it's the eMAM team or outside, partner, one of our system integrators, but to write those DAGs and to get those runnings, but they will automatically process the system. But it's a great, it really presents a great option. And let's see, other questions. So obviously for metadata, and probably have another webinar on just on metadata, but there's lots of third-party sources in addition for metadata and places people are using and sources of whether it's game day statistics for a sports event or a live event or whatever system is in currently use. So in addition to all the tools we have, there's ways of bringing those into our system, and happy to discuss those with you as needed. And then see if there's any other questions we didn't answer during the session. Obviously, we're recording today's session, so if you want a copy, let us know, or any questions you have. Our system integrators are on our website, so they're easy to find as well, and they'd be happy to answer your questions. And again, thanks for your interest today, and hope to see you at one of the upcoming shows, or we can talk online as needed. But again, thank you for your interest, and let us know what we can do. We're very excited about all the new tools, and we have a lot more coming up for you. So thanks a lot and have a great day.